This book by Stephen Levine, A Gradual Awakening. We sit in a circle. This has great significance, for in a circle all points are equal. The circle is the form of nature. In nature, all things move in cycles. There are the seasons, day and night, life and death. Light moves into darkness, returning to the light. The American Indians spoke of the great hoop in which all people were protected. When the hoop was broken, people no longer lived within the cyclical nature of who they were, and they lost their knowingness, their contact with the flow. The Indian nations were scattered and nearly destroyed. Energy seems to move in circles. The orbiting of the planets, the cycling of the electrons around the nucleus of the atom. When we come into the circle, we come into the flow. But when we push against that circle, when we try to think circle or think flow, we make it linear with a beginning and an end. We distort it. Each moment is a perfect circle. When we penetrate into the totality of the moment, we see that no point in that circle has any better vantage for seeing the rest of the circle than any other point. We see that each moment is the perfect outcome of all that has come before, the perfect predecessor to all that will follow. Our sitting meditation becomes like entering a perfect circle in which there is room for everything. We never become lost because there's nowhere to go. We are constantly arriving home in the present moment. Surrender is perfect participation in the circle. Letting go allows us to flow, to become the whole circle. To hold to any point on the circle is to lose our original nature, because there is no place we begin and nowhere we end. So my meditation practice has been serving me really well at this time and all times. And the other day I had a really difficult day. Depression was coming forward in a very big way for me. And so I went to my meditation practice and to the forest. And I came back into that connection to the circle, just what he's talking about here. I opened myself up to the space in between my thoughts, in between the feelings. And every time that I do that, I reconnect to that knowingness that is inside of me, that knows that we are all in this hoop together. And, I think if I think about the roots of all these wounds that are being triggered and brought to light right now, culturally, socially, globally, and I drop down all the way to the bottom of it, what I see is this disconnection from soul. And so to me, all the crises that we're experiencing right now, the, racism, I know this has been going on for years and years and years, white supremacy, patriarchy, the ecological crisis that we're in, and they're all connected. You can't separate them from each other. There's the social crisis, financial crisis. It's all happening in every direction. And when I go all the way to the bottom of it, what I see is this crisis of soul, which is that disconnect from the hoop, and that disconnect from who we are and how we belong to each other. And so I think it's really important that we all act and we participate in this amazing cultural uprising that's happening right now. And I also think it's really important that we don't forget the soul piece of it, and recognize that none of us can do this alone, that we're all in it together, even though I know that culturally it hasn't been working that way. But I think the way that the healing and the mending is going to happen is by really reconnecting ourselves to planet Earth, to who we are as human beings, to that inherent dignity that each one of us is carrying inside of us, that when we recognize our own inherent dignity, it becomes natural to recognize it in another, where we recognize that every single living being is worthy of love and respect and dignity. And no one can really take that away from us. And at the same time, when we forget to hold on to it for ourselves, we are unable to see it in another, which makes it possible to do the kind of harm that has been going on for many, many, many years. And so I want to invite us back to that circle, to the hoop, to that sense of connection to our own ground, which is nature, earth, soul. It's all the same material. And as we learn how to really inhabit that in our own being, it becomes automatic that we'll see it in another. So just wanted to share that, and I hope you're all doing well and love you.